Hi, welcome to the AWS new feature series. In the previous video, we saw AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. So this was already covered in my previous video. There we looked at from on-premises how you can move to cloud for disaster recovery. We also looked at how you should separate prod and DR into different regions so that you don't lose the data. And then we looked at the cost factors. So this channel is totally dedicated to help you with the certifications, primarily cloud certifications on AWS Azure. And then you will also see contents linked to Salesforce W, Salesforce WCRM. This WCRM was called Einstein Analytics and Einstein Discovery. So it has been renamed after the acquisition of Tableau by Salesforce. Now in this channel, I would recommend you to visit all of these playlists. There is a playlist for AZ900 certifications, another for AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, one for AWS Solution Architect Associate, DP200, DP900. These are data fundamentals. So these are all real questions that I have posted with explanations. You will also see contents related to DP300, DP303, 304, and Tableau, CRM and Einstein. So you may go through all of those videos to understand the questions. These are all real-time questions. Understand the explanations. Let's look at this new edition S3 storage class, which is called S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval. Whatever I'm talking in this video, this is effective 1st of December 2021. AWS has already added these features. You may like to subscribe to this channel if you are looking to build a career or strengthen your career on cloud products. Now, what the hell is AWS S3? If you are a novice in this field, an amateur or a fresh starter, in a very basic term, AWS S3 is an object store. So is it similar to Windows Explorer? Think about it. Is it similar to Windows Explorer? People who already work on S3 or already know some concepts of S3? The answer is no, my friend. S3 is not a file store. Typically, this is a file store. This is Windows Explorer, a file store. In AWS, EFS is the file store, which is similar to Windows Explorer, which can be used for file share. Let's see in terms of a diagram. This is Elastic File System, that is EFS. Okay, and you can use this to store files coming from EC2, which is your VM, or different cloud products, different database servers. Okay, so since S3 is an object store, if you see some data lake storages, they use object store to store data. You can store any type of files. It can be Word files, CSV files, XML files, Parquet files. Let us think of a question. This question is for you to answer it. I have a database export file. Can I store it in S3? Think about it. Can you store it in S3? And the answer is yes. So if you see this, S3 is a cloud object storage. That's the key. It is not just any object storage. It's a cloud object storage. If you see this, it's very durable. You can keep the data there for a long time, and you can trust this data will not be messed around even if you keep it for years. So let's see this architecture, or flow, S3 can store data from anywhere, any analytics data, any log files, any application data, any video pictures, any backup and archival data. So what? I can store any damn file here? Absolutely. Any of the files, you can store it. So make a note of this. We will go through some important questions which are needed from a real-time project implementation perspective. If you understand the implementation and where to fit S3 storage classes, there are different storage classes. These are the different storage classes of S3. Even if you are able to map these to those storage classes, you would be good enough to to implement any project, clear project interviews, and clear certifications. That's the key. Yes, buddy, clear certifications. That's all this channel is dedicated to. So what we are talking in this video, we are focusing on this stuff. This is a new feature that AWS has added. This is a new feature, okay? These were already there, but this is a new feature. This feature is available from December 1st, 2021. Now, do you understand like why is Glacier used for? The Glacier storage class, like the Glacier instant retrieval, Glacier flexible retrieval, and Glacier deep archive. They are primarily used to store files and data for archive storage. Some may be for short term, medium term, and very long term. So again, a question time. So you are working for Barclays Bank, okay? And you have a database which stores important transaction informations. Now there are some federal regulations which says that you should have the data maintained for 10 years. So we want it maintained for 10 years. Now if I maintain this in this production system, the 10 years worth of data, the system will get very slow. So what is the option? I have to archive it. What can be the potential option here? I will maintain 3 years worth of data in my production system and I would archive the remaining somewhere else. That somewhere else is Glacier. If I give you a choice, what would you choose out of these? I have given you a clue, it has to be Glacier, but which ones on the Glacier? I'll give you a clue here. This data is purely an archive data and you have to retrieve it once maybe in a year or once in 2 years, 3 years, just for regulatory compliance. Time to think over it now. This is a good use case for deep archive, okay? Because you want to retrieve it once in a year or 2 3 years and you do not worry about the retrieval speed. That means if the regulatory officers say, I want you to give me a data which is 5 years prior, they will give you at least uh, a week of a timeline to get that data to them. So you do not need the retrieval in milliseconds or minutes. Hours is perfectly fine. Now, when to use this stuff, Glacier Instant Retrieval. Now, have you been to hospitals? What do hospitals do from a data perspective? Obviously, they cure patients, but they also maintain patient data. And by from a regulatory compliance perspective, from a HIPAA compliance perspective, they have to maintain it for years. Now imagine a patient comes to the hospital and there was some past history to that patient, and you, as a doctor, want to access that data. The patient is not a regular patient, so she doesn't come to the doctor's clinic every year because she is not infected with a disease or needs the surgery. She was admitted 7 years back, and now the doctor wants to access the data, which is 7 years old. Will the doctor have time? Can you wait for hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours to retrieve the data? No. The big answer is no. In this case, they don't have time because the patient needs immediate help. So you want your retrieval to happen in milliseconds. That is exactly where Glacier instant retrieval is of immediate help. It will instantly, in milliseconds, you can retrieve the data, but you can also save the cost of storing these files for a long, long time in Glacier because the costs are low. Okay, but if you have such scenarios, you won't choose deep archive over instant retrieval because deep archival will take hours and hours to retrieve that data. You would, in this use case for the patient, you would use instant retrieval because you want to help the patient immediately. Now this new introduction, flexible retrieval, it gives you more opportunity to save your cost over this. Okay, when to use this storage class is very useful for storing backup and disaster recovery data. These are the use cases where you have large sets of data which are occasionally needed to be retrieved. But whenever you need it to be retrieved, it has to be in minutes, not in milliseconds, but in minutes. And this layer helps you do that without concerns for costs. Another important thing to remember is you can configure this. You can make it minutes, 2 hours. It's up to you. You can configure the retrieval times. Okay, it's your choice. If you're doing minutes, obviously there will be slightly higher cost. If you're making it hours, the cost will be less, the retrieval costs. Okay, and another thing you have is you have a free bulk retrieval facility, and that's how you get the cost reduction. At the end of the day, it is all to do with cost reduction, giving the performance with low cost. This channel is all about giving you more knowledge, and hence I'll give you one more tip. A lot of people, they say I will use standard IA class because it is cheap. These two classes are even cheaper. If you see this one, I have done the cost comparison. It is 68% cheaper than standard IA. And Glacier flexible retrieval, which is a new feature, this is 10% cheaper than the instant retrieval. So if you choose this over this, you have the flexibility to retrieve the data in minutes or hours, plus you pay 10% less. Okay, this one gives you, the instant retrieval gives you retrieval in milliseconds. This one gives you retrievals in minutes or hours. Okay, and in both the cases you can either put the data directly, suppose from your on-prem directly to this Glacier layer, or it can transition through life cycle. How life cycle works, you can move first to standard, and then if the usage is not that great, you can move it to standard IA, and then Glacier retrieval, and then Glacier deep archive. And you have both the flexibility. Either you can transition to a different layer, that is, if you're storing it in Glacier flexible retrieval, you can transition it further to Glacier deep archive. Okay, or you can set expiration actions. That means it expires and deletes. I would request you to please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, because that is very important for me to get motivated to put in some more contents which are informative. Now, from a certification standpoint, AWS Cloud Practitioner or AWS Solution Architect, please make a note of this video. This feature is very important. The Glacier Flexible Retrieval, you will get questions on this starting 1st of December. So 1st of December 2021, I'm saying 2021, you will get questions on this. So please, if you have not focused on the concept, please understand this concept. Please understand the use cases where you can apply. Please compare it with other use cases for other classes so that your knowledge is crystal clear. That's it in this part. I will see you in the other parts where we will talk about some more additions, some more cost savings.